Howdy, 102ers. If you're watching this like immediately after it's posted, Monday morning at 12:01 a.m., well, you know I'm not quite back at home yet. So, you know what? It's okay. Take a breath. Wait a minute. If you're watching this a little bit later, then yeah, I'll be at home and I'll revel in the sweet humidity that is Wilmington, Delaware. Glory be, right? Look, vacations are nice and all, but now that I'm home, I have papers to grade and literally 10 loads of laundry to do. It's like there's more work after coming home than before you leave. Oh, and the fact that there's no food in the house because being away for so long, you don't want stuff to go bad. There's not even anything to eat. I'm tired. Ugh. Anyway, it's not really a very involved week, but it's a week that could possibly make the difference between passing and failing your Unit 3 paper. Don't believe me? Well, here's the weekly announcement. Da-da-da-da-da. You know, hey, that's great. Not really much here to look at, like 3 things and then 2 assignments to do. But honestly, the links that you need are right in front of your face. Okay? If you don't really believe me, then go back to the main page, click on View the Course Schedule, get to this page, scroll down to week 8, and there it is. Hope you had a nice 4th of July. As you can see, 2 things to look through and 2 assignments to submit. And this is probably going to end up being a little bit of a longer video. So let's just get started so we don't have to really suffer through it, okay? So, to start, tips for writing counterarguments and rebuttals. Click. Here we go. This page has some nuggets of information, but unfortunately, it's rather just a quick, discussion, and it lacks a lot of solid information on what to do and how to do it. It's just kind of assuming you already know what's going on. So let me try to help you a little bit. I've sometimes asked people during debates, did you just wait for me to take a breath so you could just jump in and start speaking, or did you actually have something of note to say? Seriously, how many of us listen for breaks in the conversation simply just to jump in without really listening to the actual person's words before we do? That's not giving a counterargument, that's a verbal attack. A solid counterargument takes in all of the information that was given to you, all the initial argument points. It processes them and then attempts to refute one or more of these points with the counter evidence. Yes, counter evidence, it's what's for breakfast. That counter evidence can be viewed as evidence specifically found in response to an argument, which is presented in the, well, you guessed it, counter argument. So I've said before that an argument, and now in this case a counterargument, that has no real evidence to support it is simply just an assertion. We don't like assertions. Assertions are just verbal diarrhea that do more to show your inability to logically respond to the argument than to ever convince your opponent that their argument was wrong in the first place. Anybody know what movie this is from? Great movie. So, knowing what a counter-argument is, what counter-evidence is now, we need to know how to accurately convey that counter-argument. The first thing we have to do is provide a clear and solid transition to illustrate to your reader that we are leaving the main argument and heading in a totally different direction. There are many appropriate transitions that you can use here, and some of them are listed on this page, but I also have provided another link in your announcement that I will show you right now. Now, honestly, this one isn't all warm and fuzzy and cute like the Delaware Tech Brightspace pages are. This is more like a, hey, you want to get it done? I'm going to show you how to do it, but you're going to work. And it's a great page. Because let's face it, if you look at it, you might not understand. For example, what is first contrasting transition plus name the opposition plus strong verb plus opposing point of view plus evidence plus analysis plus second contrasting transition plus relevance to the opposing point of view plus turn? What the hell is that? Let's break it down and go a little bit more slowly. First contrasting transition. We are now going from the argument into the counter-argument. We can use words like however, but, admittedly, although, alternatively. These are knee-jerk reactions to show you mentally that you are going in a different direction. So that first contrasting transition is important. Name the opposition. This honestly is the only thing on this page that I do not like. They say others or some. I don't like that. I like detail. So the opposition. So alternatively, those who believe that, give me a topic. Those who believe that the United States has all of the necessary protections in place for cyber terrorism. Although individuals who feel that abortion should be made illegal to every citizen of the United States, give me a real understanding of who that opposition is. Be very clear about it. Tell me who it is, because otherwise, others say, oh, great, who are the others? Those people. Who are those people? Give me more information. And once we get into that, we can go into the strong verbs. Denial, assertion, or assertion. Those people reject, oppose, disagree, question, or doubt. They argue, they reason, they claim, they support, they conclude. These are definitely very, very strong verbs that are going to help you overall, okay? So make sure to include them. Give the opposing point of view. Quite literally, tell me what the opposition feels at that point. And what evidence are they providing to prove their point? And then your analysis. Great. Is it strong? Is it weak? And then why, right? Then the second contrasting transition, still, however, but, nevertheless, yet, despite, although, even though they believe this, my original argument is still correct because. Now we're going into the rebuttal portion, right? Now we're getting into the opposing point of view. Despite individuals who feel that the United States is ready for cyber attacks, there we go, the opposing point of view, they feel that they're wrong. Okay, great. The turn. Go back into your rebuttal. Explain again why that's so important. So hopefully now when you look at these words, it's not a bunch of confusing statements. Now by going through it and looking at it, going, wow, that's really helpful. That's going to get you moving. Now, like I said, the rest of this page is put together to, show the counter-argument rebuttal basics. The so necessary transition that you'll need to work into CSET, and so forth. It's literally the exact same thing, except much, much less detailed than the Pennington publishing blog. So I would use that instead of this. All right? Excellent. So, now the next page to review is paraphrasing and your argumentative research paper. Now, unfortunately, this page really isn't very good. First, you've already seen the whys and wherefores of paraphrasing before. I've talked about it. You've heard about it in most of your English classes. You're probably rolling your eyes going, I don't want to even see this. Well, this page, to your credit, isn't actually about paraphrasing to begin with. It's actually someone's rant on citing paraphrasing. So just remember, when you look at this, I didn't write it. As a reminder, if you use any outside source, whether you directly quote it, also known as copying and pasting or directly quoting, or paraphrasing, also known as taking someone else's ideas and putting them into your own words so everyone understands it a little bit better, well, you must cite it. Now and forever. Don't ever forget that. It's not your material, so you must give credit to the original author. Now, after all that, what's the big takeaway from this page? Well, it's the type of citing that you must do. Officially, the American Psychological Association states that you must provide your author, year of publication or update, and the location of the information. That's the page or paragraph number for any direct quote. The APA also states that for any paraphrase, you must provide the author and year of publication or update But the location of the information is optional, which means you can choose to include it or not. The APA leaves it up to your receiving institution, Delaware Tech, or your instructor. That's me. To be 100% honest with you, I truthfully prefer seeing the location of the information. And again, that's the page or paragraph number. And I want to see this in every single citation. Why? Well, in a direct quote, it's the rule. In a paraphrase, it shows me that you, and your readers need to know it too, not only know where the paraphrase begins, right after the year, but also where it ends. Your reader never has to guess if the next sentence is part of your paraphrase or the beginning of your tie-in. There's no muddy water here, folks. Now, some of my colleagues downstate are dead set against this, and I really don't understand why. You're literally adding as many characters to your paper as you would if you typed in a telephone number. That's it. Honestly, you're adding more characters to the telephone number, but whatever. So this is called bookending, and you can see it right here. Oh, look, bookending. It's incredibly helpful for everyone involved. We have our setup, we have our evidence, we have our citation. We have our setup here, we have our evidence, and oh, look, there's our citation. Boom, boom, boom. Very easy, right? Down here, we have a paraphrasing practice. No, you do not have to do it. No, you do not have to submit it. No, it is not part of your grade. It's there if you need it, and if you would like to send it to me, I am more than willing to take a look at it, okay? So, there's that. Now, for those of you who actually are interested in paraphrasing, well, let me kind of show you how I've taught it. So let's say you have a direct quote that says the large green dinosaur ate the leafy treetops, and you took it from Grant, 1993, paragraph 1, period. Okay, great. That is a correct way to cite a direct quote. However, my friends, let's say your teacher is kind of a jerk, like me, and doesn't really like direct quotes, like me, and really wants you to paraphrase, like me. So, you have to paraphrase this. A lot of people tend to play what's called the thesaurus game, and it's really ridiculous. What they do is they basically take each word and find a synonym for it and just plug it in there saying, well, it's my work. Yeah, but then it looks stupid. See what I mean? The large green dinosaur ate the leafy treetops now becomes the huge, verdant, terrible lizards consumed the vegetation atop the woody protrusions. It sounds like you're an idiot. Don't play that game. Plus the fact, what's missing? Did you notice? There's no citation there, which automatically means it's plagiarism. So you have created two huge problems by just finding synonyms. So how might we do it? Once again, we take a look at the original quote. The large green dinosaur ate the leafy treetops. Grant, 1993, paragraph 1. So if I want to paraphrase this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end and make it the beginning. I'm going to take the beginning and kind of form that at the end, and I'm going to mix up the middle a little bit. So therefore, all the information is still there, but it's in a completely different order, okay? It doesn't change the way it's understood. It just changes the way it's presented. And how do we do that? Like this. We have our setup here, according to Dr. Grant, 1993. There we have our author and our year. Our setup is good. We have our evidence in the middle, and we have our citation at the end. So according to Dr. Grant, 1993, treetops were the most common sustenance for the bigger dinosaurs due to the proximity to their mouths. All the information is right here. I've taken the beginning from the original quote and made it my end. I've taken the end and made it my beginning, and I've kind of mixed up the middle a little bit. So now you can't accuse me of copying and pasting. You can't accuse me of playing the thesaurus game. I've reused a few words like dinosaurs, right, and treetops. Because let's face it, you can't quite paraphrase dinosaurs unless you're going to be really talking about brachiosaurs and brontosaurs and things like that, all right? But more vaguely, there it is. But that's how you would paraphrase. Hopefully, this little trip down memory lane was helpful to you. Really quickly, since you're getting into more of a APA need for your documents, I have listed all of the different APA references that we've talked about this semester so far. We have 2 Delaware Tech ones. We have the Brightspace one, which isn't very good. We have the APA official site and the Purdue University official site. All of those will really help. Now, some of them do have an automatic citation generator attached, like I know Purdue does. Just a real quick warning. Here's the thing. You might think that these provided APA references from the databases or the automatic citation generators are going to be perfect. They're not. In my experience, they most always get the capitalization wrong and sometimes screw up the punctuation and italics as well. Because I'm holding you accountable for the correct format, using the sources I mentioned earlier and creating the references yourself is really the safest bet. Okay? All right. Hopefully, at this point in the semester, you're pretty much well on your way to finishing your paper. That's where this homework comes in. First, the counterargument and rebuttal planning discussion board. We're going to take a look at that. Click. And honestly, this is going to be making sure that you give me a solid counterargument and rebuttal. This is something that if you do it correctly here, you can actually take what you type in this discussion board and put it right into your paper, okay? Now take a look at what I did. I've given you, what I want to see. I've broken down that Pennington publishing blog right here. And I want transitional phrases, the opposing reason, give me 2 ideas that you're going to include, 1 source that you'll cite, and so forth. Same thing with the rebuttal. And then what I did down here is I actually broke it up to show you exactly what my counterargument is going to look like. Here's 2 paragraphs from my counterargument, and then here's 2 paragraphs from my rebuttal. That's a big one. And you know what? If I copied this and pasted it into Microsoft Word, and I reset the font size, and I reset the spacing, and I make sure that the margins are correct, it's 1 2/3 pages of text. So if your argument, let's say, is 2.5 pages, and that's at the minimum, you're looking at 4+ pages of text that you're already completing with your background, your introduction, and your conclusion to go. Guess what? You're welcome. Now, finally, if we take a look at this, you have the Unit 3 progress checkpoint. This is what I want to see, my friends. I want to see basically a partial or complete, if you're done it, partial rough draft of your Unit 3 paper, okay? I want to see it so I can review it and give it back to you before you have the panic of, oh my God, is the paper any good? I have to use AI to make it good, and then I'm going to get busted, and then I'm going to be sent to the dean's office, and then I'm in real trouble. Yes, I understand all of that. So let's do this right, okay? So I want you to give me your side of the argument. A minimum of 3 paragraphs in CSET format, each one detailing inappropriate claims to your thesis, as well as associated evidence, okay? You may have more than 3 paragraphs, especially if you have more than 3 claims, and that's fine. No problems. But really pay attention and try to focus on the fact that each paragraph is going to be roughly 2/3 of a page, okay? So 3 paragraphs, 2/3 of a page each. We've got, 6/3, which is 2 pages. Is my math right? 2 full pages of argument, and that's at the bare minimum, okay? So if you have that, that's great. Then we get into what else I want to see. Your counter argument. You've already done it for the discussion board. Copy and paste it into here. Your rebuttal section, copy and paste it into here. So honestly, I want to see each counter-argument paragraph be between 1/2 and 2/3 of a page. Again, that's between 1 and a page and a third for each. So that right here is 2 pages, maybe 2 2/3 pages, maybe 3 pages. So at this point here, you've got 2 pages, 3 pages, you've got 5 pages out of 7, all right? Which is great. And you haven't touched your introduction, your background, or your conclusion yet. All right? And then I want you to give me some sort of a draft of your references page so I can take a look at it. All right? If you want to include your introduction or background or conclusion, I am happy to look at it. You let me know. I am never going to say no to more information, but I will give you complaints if I get less. Now, how do you want to submit it? Okay, great. Well, guess what? You have 3 options. I will actually drive to campus if you need me to meet with you in a live conference, but it must be scheduled ahead of time and it must be at a mutually agreed upon time. I am not going to be there all day because I can't be. I've got to watch my kids. So if you need me to meet with you, I am happy to drive in and meet with you. Okay. You just got to set up a time with me and we'll figure it out. If you would rather Zoom, that's fine. I can pretty much Zoom anytime during the day at that point. Okay. So we will set this up. And once again, you have to set this up ahead of time because I'm not just going to sit at my desk all day long waiting and hoping and praying for somebody to really Zoom me. Okay. Or finally, if many of you are looking at this on Sunday saying, oh shit, something's due, just submit it like a normal draft because you've already missed the options to conference with me. Okay. So please go through this, decide what you want to do, and let me know ahead of time. All right? How's that sound? Sounds good? Wonderful. Here's the thing. If you skip these videos and just think you've done it right, you take your chance by spinning Fortuna's wheel. So please, don't leave it to chance, okay? I'm trying to make sure you're ready by giving you every bit of information I can. And that's it, folks. It's a dense, long, and detailed video. So rewatch it if you need to. Good luck. Let me know what I can do to help more, and I'll be able to decompress from this trip by the next time you submit something. See ya.